Let's get to the bottom of this one. Unspoken truths that I miss one. Tap into the minds of the people, rather acknowledge before I dismiss one. Atheists, Muslim, Christians, Buddhists, they all got usage. All got perspective, it's a collective. Get to the bottom of the truth is. With our hearts uncovered. Boy, detox from all of the lies you smothered. What them tries could have killed you, but with faith you recover. Yup. Peel off the makeup, we finna take off. Never said it'd be a cakewalk. Meditate till we charged up. Execute goes regardless. Decalcify my pineal. Breaking language barriers, we saw millennials. Planets passing age rotations, down mean we owe. So down mean we know. Sometimes we can be slow, that's why my ears open. Every drop you add could complete the ocean. Speak up, play your part too. Been vulnerable, it's so hard to.
Hi, everybody. I'm Kimberly with Unseen Twisted Truths. We are the People's Podcast, and we have my co-host Henry and
Hi,
DD.
everybody.
So anyway, so much stuff's been going on. How are you, Henry?
Well, a lot of stuff's been going on.
Yeah, how are you?
Trying to deal with my emotions in positive ways.
Facts. Same here. Do you feel like you're being tested?
I always feel like I'm being tested.
Yeah.
I mean, I have thoughts on that too. I think we're all being tested.
Yeah, me too. So today's subject is going to be about releasing and growth.
I like it. I like it already.
Yeah.
In part of our mental health series.
In part of our mental health series. We have to remove what is not of us. We have to be able to get rid of things that are not for us in order for us to grow. Do you agree?
Yeah. I think there's a lot of assessment on that, and I think we're going to get into that. But yeah, getting rid of things to make room.
So release comes in many different forms. Release isn't just about letting go. It's also about acknowledging and realizing what we did before was acknowledging and realizing what the root problem is and allowing it to have a space, allowing it to be there.
Root causes are really important. A lot of people kind of skip over that or don't see it, or we get bogged down. Don't realize a lot of things, even us, can be causing our stress.
Facts.
Oh, let me see.
True. So, not only can we cause the stress, but if we don't know where that comes from, we're not able to easily diagnose it. We're not able to have the underlying cause taken care of. I talked to somebody about triggers today. I talked to Evan about triggers today. And he was like, some people have them and they don't realize them because they don't want to acknowledge them. They don't want to acknowledge the root problem. So they overlook it and mask it and think they're healing without realizing you can't do that. You have to be able to figure out what the root problem is to eliminate it.
So what are some bad ways of doing it?
Love, Lord. Peace and love.
Ooh, I love Laura.
I do too. She has a date coming up for the radio show.
Oh, that'd be cool. I've been trying to jump back on, at least jump on in between songs and crack some jokes or something. I don't know.
So you were asking what are some
unhealthy mechanisms?
Unhealthy? Reflecting.
Yeah.
Blaming others.
Anger.
Anger
is a good one.
So releasing Pent up emotions and stress is extremely important for mental health as it allows you for environmental regulations, reduces anxiety, and can significantly improve overall well being by preventing negative emotions from accumulating and impacting daily life essentially. It, it acts as a crucial mechanism to maintain a healthy mental state. Key points about releasing emotions for mental health: stress reduction, better coping mechanisms, physical benefits, how to release emotions healthy, talk therapy, discuss your feelings with a therapist or someone else, a safe place, find coping strategies, journaling, writing them down, physical activity like exercise can boost your mood effects, creative expressions, engaging in activities like art, music, dance, mindfulness, practices meditation, and keep breathing can help you become more aware of your emotions and manage them effectively.
So, what do you say to someone who says that all sounds like BS?
You're correct. What
It
do
is
you have?
BS.
Yes. And what do you have to lose, though, if it isn't?
That's a good thing. What do you have to lose? I feel there's a so bottling up how you feel, you know, deflecting. How what time is it? 6 minutes, 7 minutes. Substance use, maybe falling into any kind of other activities and stuff to avoid avoidance behaviors. That's all really bad for you. Yet it's pretty commonplace.
Think about it. If your life is so chaotic and you're blaming everybody else for all your decisions and all your troubles and tribulations and trials and all this stuff, if you're blaming everyone else, what do you have to lose to start changing how you see it?
Well,
Absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing because you're already miserable.
I'm trying to think of a way to word it. I think a lot of people who suffer from this in society are men, to be honest, because men, I'm not just singling them out, but it's kind of presented in this weird social stigma that being in touch with your emotions, identifying things, getting therapy, talk therapy, any of that stuff is kind of a sign of weakness.
And I talked to my daughter-in-law about this today, and it's ironic because I didn't tell her what we're going to talk about tonight on the show. And I said a healthy balance between the masculine energy and the feminine energy is a must for everybody, not just men, women too. Men can't have that healthy balance because they think that any feminine energy is a sign of weakness.
Right. That's insane, kind of insane thinking, isn't it? I mean, you can be as masculine as you want, but at the end of the day, you still have nipples.
Yeah.
We are we are all together in this. It's
Underneath
great when we identify with each other. Go
underneath
ahead.
this flesh that we have for skin, we are souls. Do you think our soul says, "Wait a minute, I'm a female soul. I can't go out there and do man stuff." And you think your soul says, wait a minute, I'm a male soul. I can't cry. I don't think our souls are quite aware the fact that humans decided to put a box around us and say, this is how we look as a female. This is how we look as a male. And this is how we should act. I think that ideal thinking was to keep us constructed and to keep us in a controlled manner so that we aren't able to see both sides. Just like
I
crying to
mean,
me, they need to cry. Everybody needs to cry.
y'all, some of my viewers, some of the people might not have noticed, but I don't give two fits about that, about those constructs. To give a shit about those types of things is to deflect. It's to why give a shit about that type of thing? It's I think these gender roles are very important for when we're hunting hunting woolly mammoths and shit. I believe we're civilized enough to look past that shit now. I mean, we're really advanced. At least I thought we were.
I don't even know what the whole purpose of knowing that you're a man and that I'm a female will benefit us if we're not breeding. I don't get it. I don't know what the whole purpose of knowing that is. The only time, and I said this a long time ago, and I will say this, and I will continue saying this. The only time I'm very uncomfortable with the whole change of sex, David, welcome.
Oh,
Oh, hey, David.
Welcome.
I got to run out here right quick. Welcome, David.
So,
thanks, y'all.
David, we were talking about how men feel that they can't cry and that it's hard for people to be able to have that both. I think there has to be a healthy mix of both. I think you have to have both male genes and feminine genes within yourself. You have to be able to have a healthy balance. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that it takes, again, like we talked about last time, showing yourself grace, especially uh, as a man that was told not to show emotion, not to cry, not to let people know how happy you are. And at a certain point, I kind of came to the realization that sounds robotic.
It
Why
does.
would I do that? Why would I go through my whole life not crying tears of joy or sadness, depending on what's happening? Why would I put myself in a position where I'm feeling these things, but I'm not acknowledging them, or I'm not expressing them, or whether even if it's through writing, right? Because writing is also a form of expression. It doesn't always have to be
Yes.
verbal, but realizing that keeping all of that stuff in makes you sick, like it makes your internal organs sick because you have things that you want to say or you have things that you want to express and you're not expressing them.
Hmm.
I, at this point, have no desire to be sick for anybody.
Facts.
So, yes, I cry tears of joy. I cry like a baby for certain movies. I cry like a baby when certain things happen throughout life, right? But I think it takes reprogramming. I do. I think it takes reprogramming, stepping away from this idea that men are supposed to be machines. And that's not necessarily the truth. Might be society's narrative, but that's not the truth. So I think going back to what we spoke about in terms of like just loving yourself and honoring yourself, if crying is how you honor yourself, then do that. Like within context, of course, don't cry over everything, but you get my point. Like if it's something that you need to do, then do that. And I don't think that we need permission to do that either. I think that if you're going to do that, then take time to yourself, whether before work, after work, whenever you need to, and just let all of that stuff out. Like, why would you want to make yourself sick on behalf of someone?
And I love the fact that you said rebooting because the tonight's subject, and I don't know if you're quite aware yet, tonight's
Mhm.
subject is called releasing growth. You have to be able to remove. You have to be able to let out. You have to be able to reboot, reconstruct, change your mindset, change how you see things, change what's not working.
Yeah.
What did Laura say?
Laura, so let it out to before that, and then you are in touch with your feelings, which is great. Hell yeah. I really like that you said I refuse to be sick anymore. That's a hell of a message
Because that's
statement.
exactly what it is. And then, if your life is so perfect, then please don't let us stop you, and you don't have to tune into this show. Now,
Right.
if you feel that you need help though and you want to become better, then please tune into this show because we are not robots. And as this We are living in this human experience, having this human experience in a celestial body, that we have to be able to handle those emotions. And there's nothing wrong with having them.
Yeah.
We have a heart.
You're welcome.
We have a heart. We all have a heart. As that heart beats and as the blood flows through our veins, things will affect us because we care.
Mhm.
It doesn't say just because you're a man, you can't care. Just because you're a man, you don't have a heart. Just because you're a man, you are not entitled to your feelings. You don't have a right to speak on them. That's asinine. I can't wrap my head around that. I don't know why they did that. I don't know why they put this stigma upon a gender and saying that you can't. That's about as bad as saying that a woman cannot go to war if she wants to. If she wants to, I'm not saying that she should, because we are, as women, the only difference between women and men is, as women, we think with our heart, not with our thoughts.
Yeah, that's true.
That's my opinion, though. I'm not a doctor and I'm not a scientist, and I'm not saying that, that's right, because studies after studies after studies show me differently. But I'm telling you what I learned in this 50 years of being on this realm, that we don't think with our mental all the time. We think of the present moment and we think of our hearts and our feelings. Greetings from where?
Manchester, England.
Greetings from Manchester, England.
That's Virgil Kane, the most cool English name I think I've ever heard in my life.
Peace and love, Virgil Kane. That is a dope name. Peace.
It's a good name. Welcome.
And there's another beautiful queen agrees with me. We think with our heart. We don't think rational. Greetings.
That's cool. England's cool. We got people from England.
So
people from all of them.
So I honestly think it would benefit us if we both had a little bit of masculine and feminine energy in all of us. I think that equal balance will help us, because we, as I'm talking me as a woman, it'd be better sometimes if I'm able to think outside of my heart.
I'm telling you, I keep a Glock in my coach purse.
Oh, it's okay, Kendall. She's looking at the Northern Lights.
I saw that before. Really cool.
Long as you're safe. He said, "Thank you very much."
You're very welcome.
What do you think, though, Virgil? If you dip out, what do you think? Do you think it's okay for a man to have feminine energy? Do you think it's okay for a woman to have masculine energy? I'm not saying become a woman. I'm not saying sit down when you pee. I'm not saying that a woman needs to grow a set of cojones. All I'm saying is to have a 50-50 mix, be able to tap in both of them when you need to, if it benefits us.
Balance is good.
Balance is really good. So tonight, when we talk about releasing, what do you think, David? What do you think the release part is?
I think that release also could be, even if the other person doesn't hear you, saying, like, I know that mantras are the in thing now, and everybody says mantras. Everybody has a certain thing that they say. So if you don't want to be held back from doing certain things, maybe you'll say, I release and no longer surround myself with people who I feel internally are holding me back from doing such and such, whatever that thing may happen to be. And not feeling guilty about it, right? Because sometimes us with hearts, we feel bad for having this thing that we really, really want to do, but certain people may not agree, or we may feel as though if our significant other says no and we do this thing anyway, then that makes us a selfish person, right? But I don't necessarily think that that's true. Took inner work to get there, but I don't necessarily think that that's true. I think that um, when it comes to that, like everybody should do what's best for themselves. If somebody's not okay with you doing what's best for yourself, I think that that person respectfully should be released, because then it means that every time they do something that's best for themselves or you do something that's best for yourself, then potentially you guys could argue every time. And it's like, well, you don't have to agree or disagree, however you may feel, but if you want to come along, that's fine. But this is where I feel called to go. This is what I feel led to do in this particular moment. So if somebody is not okay with that, then that might also be another form of release. And it's like, okay, well, I don't wish you any ill will, no bad intentions, no harm or anything, but this is where I feel called to go. This is what internally I feel called to do. So I think that is also call for release, like as well.
Yeah, I agree. I have done a madra where, well, it's not even really a madra, but I will say a little thing that I remove all soul ties of or soul contracts that do no longer better serve me in my greater good. If we are not able to benefit each other, then we don't need to be around each other. So I will remove all soul contracts that I have with anyone. So that's a good form of release. Virgil's hilarious. He's like, I'm not sure after all the Diddy parties that he's kind of confused with the whole feminine energy.
That's funny, but it ain't that funny.
It's funny, but we weren't talking like that though, Virgil. But yeah, no. At the end of
Years
the
ago, I would have been joking more about the stuff in the media, but I just quit joking about it. So many people are getting hurt, and I'm glad some of that stuff's coming to light here.
well, it's supposed to, because it's sidetracking us from what the greater good really is, what's really going on, and that's what they're going to do because they're all goats. Diddy's just a goat, so they're going to throw the goats out. They're going to throw the sheeps out there. They're going to see who's the wolf and who wasn't. They're just getting rid of the little people just so that they can hide what's really going on. There's bigger things out here than this. But mental health is important. Mental health is extremely important. If you don't, and if you're not able to control your mental will get the best of you and try to control you.
Danny Holmes says, I think releasing emotions increases resilience. Yeah.
True.
Agree?
True.
Releasing can be a really confusing thing for people to hear. Releasing can be something as easy as just acceptance or acknowledging a problem.
Yes.
That's really, it doesn't have to be this huge kind of cathartic aura that pours out of you and like a big epiphany happens. It can just be like, oh shit, maybe I am the problem. You have released something.
But 9 times out of 10, if you take a Coke bottle and you shake it all day long, eventually something's going to happen to it. It's either going to dissipate and be nothing and dead flat, or it's going to explode. Same with
your dead inside, or you hurt someone.
Same with your emotions. If you bottle them up too long, eventually they're going to either explode or you're going to be dead inside.
Yeah.
In the future, the further we get along here into the future, the more we try to understand brains, and it's kind of full of hubris because understanding brains is very hard to do. I mean, we got a basic ground rules, psychology and how that all works, and biology, but there's just shit there. Why people are always talking about souls and everything, because there is something there that we just can't calculate and account for. And it just could be sentience, but I think people kind of forget how amazing it is that we're even having a talk on a podcast right now. When you look around and see the other animals on this planet, it's amazing. But brains are complicated, and they're getting more complicated. We put brains in the computers now with AI. It's logical, but it's scary. And it's just wild. Hey, y'all. we had a couple different people jump in here, and I want to say hi to our guests who are jumping in.
These are the people. This person right here is one of the people from Danny's page. Hi, Sam.
Okay.
Yeah. Hi. Peace and love.
I'm going to butcher your name. We don't want to butcher your name.
Sama?
I think it's Samaya.
Which is pretty cool. Awesome.
Yeah.
We did.
There's beautiful things. There's beautiful things, and it's wonderful that we can connect with everyone around the globe. They are not in the United States.
No. I think it's really important to talk to people all around the globe. I love talking to people all around the globe.
Everybody deals with mental health. Everybody deals with feelings. Everybody deals with loss. Everybody deals with grief. Everybody deals with the same set of emotions. Just they don't deal with it the same way.
No.
Yeah.
And that's perception. This lady made a comment a while ago on my Facebook, who's not friends with me. I don't follow her. She don't follow me.
You said lady. I knew it was coming.
made a comment on my post about me getting a car. And I was like, yeah, I need a car now. So, well, I said, I need someone to gift me jumper cables because I was gifted a car. So I wasn't really meaning I needed someone to gift me jumper cables because I was gifted a car. I was actually just letting people know I was gifted a car. Like, you know, the jumper cables was funny. It was a part of my humorous within self of, all right, now I need jumper cables. And then now I'm going to need a gas can, you know, whatever you need when you have a car.
Yeah.
So, she took it upon herself to let me know that if I couldn't afford, since I got a car given to me, if I couldn't afford jumper cables, I'm probably going to be asking people for gas. I'm going to probably asking for people to, get insurance. I'm probably going to ask people to maintain my car. So if I cannot afford jumper cables, then I probably can't afford the responsibilities of having the luxury of having a car, which was, long story short, that was the other day. I didn't care about that. That didn't affect me in any way. Then today she decided to say that she knocked my crown off by making me aware that I was not. I have to be real precise with this because I can't remember exactly what she said, because, you know, my interpretation of it is not going to do it no justice, because at the end of the day, I still can't wrap my head why she decided to comment on my post, let alone anything else. But Danny made a post, says, you need to stop gossiping and start having adult conversations. Fix each other's crowns instead of knocking them off. This lady, respectfully, this lady said, I agree, and I didn't mean to knock your girl's crown off the other day, but it irked me not seeing a gratitude post for the person who was awesome enough to give her a car. It was the demands for more free stuff. It wasn't a good look at all. So, long story short, Danny said something to her, and this is what I said. You never knocked my crown off, my dear. Your opinion is just that. You are entitled to feel how you want to and to comment on whatever you want to, and on anyone's social media page, even if you don't know them, nor what's going on, or what I really was saying. She did nothing wrong. She is allowed to do exactly what she did on social media, and that was be social. I am not offended by anything at the end of the day, because she was entitled to her opinion. But she didn't knock my crown off, because I think above that, I see her as in not like a Karen, not having nothing else better to do than to make an opinion on something she knows nothing about. And that's my opinion. At the end of the day, my dear, you didn't knock my crown off. You couldn't even touch my crown. Just saying.
But I think it's
go ahead, David.
Something that comes up is the problem that I'm noticing is that people don't ask.
Not at all.
They take it upon themselves to comment on things that they don't have the details behind. They don't know what made you ask for it. They don't know how long you've been asking for it. Maybe you've been asking for it for about a month. I'm just using an example. But I think that's part of my love-hate relationship with social media is that I love it in terms of connection. Like you meet awesome people all the time, like you guys. But the part that irks me about it is that people, again, don't ask. Like they kind of take it upon themselves when they feel led to comment. They take it upon themselves to just comment without context, without, I guess, learning what made you post what you posted. So that's just my gripe.
Or thinking. Like, I don't think she was thinking. There's no possible way that she had a rational thought to even say what she said, or to think that she knocked my crown off. My dear, beautiful, beautiful young lady. I love people how much they love themselves and then they feel entitled. The fact of the matter is, at the end of the day, what she said did not affect me. And it still doesn't. Because any agreement she puts upon me, I have to accept that.
Yeah.
And I will not allow that. So at the end of the day, congratulations, you were social on social media. You gave me content and you continue to give me content. I really appreciate it. I don't get paid for it though. Let me fix my stars. They just hacked me again today. So let me at least be able to be me without them trying to steal me. Then you can comment on my stuff because then I can get paid for it. But right now you're just wasting your energy and time. You really are. But I appreciate it.
So did you release that?
I did. I did. And the thing is, I don't even know her where she was coming from or why she thought she should say what she said, because at the end of the day, I'm a very grateful person, but I don't have to explain that to her.
That part.
Because I don't have to have gratitude. The motherfuckers that gave me the car, that's the least they could have done. I'm just letting you know, I gave birth to that person and gave them a whole bunch of stuff. So for me to get a hand-me-down vehicle, I appreciate it because I gave them one too before. But thank you for being concerned with them. Weird. People are weird. And that's the way of being able to release properly, because if they release properly, I don't think they would have had to been able to say something on somebody else's stuff. They wouldn't have had the reason to, because they were healed. But if you have that trauma and you have that unhealed trauma, you feel like every situation involves you and you have to have an opinion on every situation.
There's a lot of fighting on social media. No, it says, no, whoever is trying to hack your systems, they are trolls and have no respect. Yeah. But there's a lot of fighting on social media. But what do you think the percentage of fighting as opposed to just not fighting is? I'm sure it's pretty high.
Peace, Jabrel. We miss you. Come on anytime, please. We missed Jabrel. He's tuning in.
Jabrel was at the beginning.
Jabrel was at the beginning. But, without the fighting back and forth between social media, I don't think they would have anything else to talk about. I don't think social media would be so social if it didn't have that.
It's like, it's less social now and more let's fight about our differences and politics generator. And it just drives me crazy.
Still considered socializing to them, to the government.
It's a tool. It's a tool for some.
I think there should be proper releases. I think people should be able to have a proper release before they just randomly say whatever they want.
Well, that's
but
sad.
But I also think that comes from maybe as a child not feeling like you can say whatever you want.
Not being heard.
So now that there's no, I guess you could say nobody watching you, quote unquote, or nobody telling you what to say, or nobody telling you how to say what you say, uh, that has kind of given people what they call digital courage, where because there's no, to a certain degree, no censorship, um, you can come on the internet and say whatever you want because maybe, and this is a big maybe, but maybe, you know that the person on the other end can't do anything. They
Facts.
can't approach you. So it gives you, to a certain degree, digital courage because you know that you're behind the screen, you're out and about, you're at a restaurant, wherever you happen to be. But the person that you might be talking about, or they might be talking about you, however it goes, is you might be in, I don't know, New Jersey, and the other person may be in Atlanta. So they can't get to you if you say something that they don't like, or they say something that you don't like. So it gives a lot of people a bit of like digital courage because they know that they can, as they say, not to sound cliche, but hide behind a screen,
Facts.
right? Because you know that this group of people, these people can't do anything to me, so I can just let my fingers go until they burn to a certain degree. So I think that's why. I think that's just my observation and my opinion, but I think that's why.
Yeah, Kendall mentioned trolls. People who hit the keyboard. Saying, "This is Sparta." I'm just gonna piss everybody off. We got keyboard immunity. Never mind. You know what? I take it all back. We are softer than mink fur. We used to duel about this shit.
So here's another funny one that I shared today. And this actually really happened to somebody. Someone sent somebody a text, right? And then I know this person who got the text. And they said, count your days, bitch. And he said, is today day one? Or do I count down? He said, I've never been threatened. I've never been threatened with this before. It's new to me. He said, you got to count down. He goes, man, that's only one day. He said, you're stupid. He said, you said days with an S. He goes, right. You got to count down. You got to count down, bitch. You got to count all the days of the week. That's end in day, starting counting now, ho. And he goes, so 7 days, right? From today, I'm lost. He's like, how? He's like, now you're confusing me, bro. He's like, maybe this is not your field because your threats are all over the place. He said, I want to help you, but it's hard. So let's start from the beginning. He's like, you want to hurt me, right? But you are on a time frame.
Math will shut down a conflict really fast.
And the whole funny part about all of it is the threat behind a keyboard. He was threatening him through the phone. And the guy on the other end wasn't threatened because it was through a keyboard.
So this one dude was hitting on me on this one site. And he started getting really awful and aggressive with me, and I started realizing that he was drunk and whatnot. And I started bringing up if he was drunk or he has a history of violence in his family and everything. And apparently I hit this huge, struck a nerve with him, especially after correcting his grammar and sending it back to him. He's like, he ends up getting pissed off and goes, "Suck my dick, pretty bitch." And I'm like, I kind of like that. I feel like I won.
But that's what he was wanting in the first place. So he really just got to the point.
Well, no, I mean, I don't think he meant it like that out of context.
I get it. But at the end of the day, that was his whole intent at the beginning anyhow. He just got
aggressively. But I feel like he lost the sword fight rather admirably by complimenting me.
Yes.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of funny. A lot of resolution there and conflict, and I'm not one to go toe to toe with in sites.
No, because you started off at the beginning anyhow. In the end, He's like, that was your intent at the beginning, wasn't it? Now you're doing it gracefully with aggression. Thank you.
Yeah, but you threw it all away. You threw it all away by being a pricky poo. I don't like it.
Well, he called you pretty though, so.
Yeah, I like that.
And that's funny though, because people don't know how to handle emotions, and that's part of release. If you learned how to release your emotions properly, you wouldn't sound like a dumb fool.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Karen,
go back and forth for an hour and just squash it. Too many people start a conflict without this little sentence. Can we find a solution? Can you and I find a solution on this?
Yeah.
That shuts shit down too, because people really want the upper hand, especially gaslighting and being narcissists, sociopaths. They don't want a solution. So saying things like that kind of reroutes conversations. Remember the pause. Power and pause.
In all situations, including the Diddy party. Remember the pause.
Not the pause, you guys. Not the pause.
But at the end of the day, seriously, if life is so hard and you can't laugh about it, then you might need to heal it. You might need to do something different about it. You might need to fix it. Because if not, it's going to end up getting the best of you.
Yeah. But I mean, does anybody really and truly have life figured out?
Not at all.
No.
Not at all.
So I think that sometimes we cause unnecessary stress like on ourselves because some of the situations and scenarios that we think of haven't even happened yet, or they won't happen.
Do you know what the number one killer is in every disease?
Laughing.
Stress.
Makes sense. You say laughing?
Stress is the number one cause in every disease that kills you. Stress. Strokes are brought on by stress. Heart attacks, stress. Depression, stress. Stress brings on so many different illnesses because we don't know how to handle our emotions.
I was going to say stress kindles those, yeah.
Yeah. It's because we don't know how to handle emotions. So the only way to be able to release is random.
Mm-hmm.
Some people do it uncontrolled laughing at every situation, including the most awkward ones at funerals. The person that's over there laughing at a funeral doesn't know how to cry.
That's deep.
Lack of sleep is from stress too. Stress will cause lack of sleep too. Your mind is too busy racing and worrying about things so much that you can't shut it down enough to be able to rest.
Yeah.
And it's usually about stuff you can't control. And a lot of people don't realize this, but our minds are tools. We're supposed to be able to utilize them and not allow them to use us because we own them. They don't own us.
That part.
Everything we have is a tool. Everything from our brain to our thumbs is how advanced they are.
But we own it all. We are the captain. We are the owner of it. Our mind does not own us. Yet.
Yeah, it's a struggle to not let it, though. That's kind of a big...
Yeah. People let it have the upper hand and control every situation. And how powerful your mind is. We talked about this before, about your mind can make you sick. It can make you on your deathbed. It can make you healthy.
Yeah.
It can fight cancer just by a thought. You can honestly not be sick no more if you continue thinking that you are not sick no more. You can become pregnant without being pregnant. Go through all the symptoms and have delivery of nothing because your mind is so powerful that it can trick your body into doing everything it's supposed to as being pregnant.
That's true. But I think, again, going back to reprogramming, right? Because we've been conditioned to a certain degree to suffer, just us as people. So when you look around and you go, or have an aha moment, and you go, yeah, I want to change my narrative. Yeah, I want to be in better physical shape, or I want more money, whatever it is that you may want. Um, when you're surrounded by people who, and I think that we've talked about this, but who are so entrenched in how they think that they can't see that you're trying to help,
Yes.
that also causes stress because now you're looking at me maybe as though I'm the enemy when I'm not. I'm trying to help. But you've been so entrenched in this idea that nothing good comes except for survival, that when you watch somebody transition from surviving to blossoming or thriving, whatever beautiful word you want to put in there, I think that that also attributes to stress because now you're looking at them. They're not even the enemy. They're trying to help, but you're entrenched in where you might be. So you don't look at them as, well, you know what? Maybe Kimberly can help.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe looking at it different from how I might see it, or she's been in a similar situation, but she's made it through the situation. So maybe she can help. Maybe she can send me a resource. Maybe she can give me a tip. Maybe she can give me advice. But I think that's the danger of being so entrenched to the point that you look at it and you think that this person is better than you when that's not even their frequency. Like that's not even what they're on. They're just trying to help. They're just like, hey, listen, I see that you're dealing with stress a lot. I've dealt with that. I can give you tips to help that. I can give you or point you in the right direction of somebody who can. But because they're so entrenched in it, they don't see it that way. They see it as, well, this person is trying to dictate to me what I should do. And it's no, I don't even like dictators. So why would I dictate to you when I don't like dictators? So I think that that is also a key to stress is being so entrenched in where you are that you don't see the help around you.
Well,
You know,
look at how interventions go all the time.
Yeah.
You know, they always turn out 100% great. And why are they necessary in the first place? Because, yeah, you're saying if we do get so entrenched, and I think a lot of these problems tend to feed off of each other. You know, I think it'd be rare to look at someone who's really in the thralls of serious mental health problems or addiction or anything and not say that they don't have multiple problems going on that need to be addressed. But
Mm.
something maybe we put one of those problems a little higher on the pedestal in lieu of covering up those other problems. You know, it's
Yeah.
just one day at a time. There's a bunch of steps that involve trying to be more productive. But yeah, it goes hand in hand.
and you know what I noticed too? A lot of people that don't know how to handle emotions, they tend to reflect. So maybe I'm just saying maybe because I don't know that nothing from a nothing, but the young lady that said that about me being unappreciative, maybe that's something she sees in within herself because we do mirror each other. So maybe you see that within yourself, and instead of you dealing with that yourself, you rather reflect it and say that you see it in somebody else instead.
That's yeah.
Because a lot of people do that. They see something within them that they just put onto someone else because they don't want to face the real elephant in the room.
Yeah. And that kind of an example that kind of comes up for me is, have you ever seen a really like just driven person? You don't understand why they're so driven, but they are. And then even though they're not looking at you as like a threat, a competition, they want what's best for you, all the great things. But you feel like because you always see them striving and being driven naturally, that it makes you feel like you're not doing enough. It makes you feel like you're not um, living up to your own potential, living up to your own form of expectations. And most of the time, it's not even that. I think that it's you haven't found, as they say, like your thing yet. And once you find your thing, then you really don't need other people telling you what to do with your thing. And I think that that's the great thing about being driven is that once you find your thing, nobody has to tell you or give you permission to go pursue your thing because that's your thing. And then I find that, like I said, on the receiving end of that or the opposite end, um, it can make you feel like you're not doing enough. but somebody's just in their gift. That's all it is. Like somebody's
Mhm.
just in their gift or their talent, or they put the time in to be in that space. And I find that when you're dealing with driven people, you might want to tell them to slow down, which doesn't work, but you can try. It doesn't work though. Doesn't always work. But I find that that's the response to people that are always driven, is that they should slow down, is that they should chill out, is that they should.
You know, a lot of people in the dark don't like to see someone else's light shine
That's true. That is very true.
because they can't find their own light. I don't need to unscrew somebody else's light bulb to make mine shine, though. So a lot of people got to realize that they need to heal before you start judging someone else and putting something out there about another individual. You might want to look in the mirror at yourself and make sure that
Yeah.
you got it all figured out, because I don't got shit figured out. I'm just winging it.
Me neither.
Every single day that I am able to open my eyes and acknowledge another beautiful day,
Hmm.
it's another chance to try to get it right, because I'm just winging it.
Amen to that one.
People are weird, right? Like that. Like my mom showed me how to play guitar, and then hated me for it.
Yeah.
Absolutely hated me to the point where she even tried to kill me over it. I don't think she tried to kill me. It's kind of unclear on why. She that was crazy. That was crazy. Jealousy,
Because
anger.
you didn't like the fact that you were so good at something that she taught you, because she thought you would be failing at it because she failed at it.
Mhm.
A
Yeah.
lot of people don't like I said, somebody else's light because they don't know how to let theirs shine.
You know, now my mom was like that. Though she was a green stoplight. You know, it didn't. Nothing she really did seemed to make a lot of sense. So cohesively, she didn't string emotions together very well. In the same sentence, she'd be like, "Hey, Henry," be like, "Yeah," be like, "I love you." Like, I love you too, Mom. And I go to walk away, and she'd be like, "Henry," I'd be like, "Yes." She'd be like, "Fuck you, fuck you, Henry." I'd be like, "Okay, okay." Is that Genie or the Milwaukee's best? Like, could have been either.
It could have been none. It could have been the fact that she didn't love the fact that she loved you because she didn't love herself.
Yeah,
That
part of
part.
her loved me. I don't think she wanted me.
No, I don't think she wanted her. I think you were the best part of her and she didn't want her. I was told I wasn't wanted, and that wasn't the case, I promise you. It was because she didn't like I looked just like her and I was a better version of her, even though she taught me to be me. I wasn't trying to be a
Must be.
better version of her, though.
But I think a part of it too, right, is that when people get used to seeing you in a certain light, and then you wake up and you decide, you know what, I'm gonna switch. I'm gonna switch, or I want better, or I
Mhm.
want more beautiful relationships, whatever it is, and your version of better. People don't like change,
A
so
lot of people don't, yes.
so when they get used to you operating a certain way, maybe they get used to you reacting a certain way like all the time, and then when you don't, it throws them off. Like it's almost like, wait, I was expecting you to like yell and cuss me out and tell me to go fuck myself, but you didn't do that. You said peace be with you or something like something like
Mhm.
that. Like so, I think that people get used to change but don't like abrupt changes. So when you abruptly change and you realize that your programming isn't working, has gotten you to a certain point, and now it's time to change your programming. When people have gotten used to you being in a specific type of programming, they don't like it because now they feel like you're switching up. And it's like, yeah, I am. Like this shit that I'm doing is not working. So yeah, I'm switching to a certain degree. So I think that's why people have the reactions that they have.
I also believe it's because they can't count on it. A lot of people don't like the fact of something they don't know nothing about. And when you switch up and become a different individual, they can't read you, so they can't count on what you're gonna say. So
Yeah.
now they don't know the proper reaction that you're gonna give them. And before they used to know. If I did this, I'd get this. I had somebody hit me in my face and I did not meet them in the anger. And all I said was, I can't believe you did that. And I love you. And you don't have to meet that anger with anger.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't know how to react to that. Like Henry said, if every conflict started off with saying, can we resolve this beforehand, I don't think there'd be a lot of conflict, because you're going to throw them off. You're going to be like, they're going to be like stunned. What do you mean, resolve this? I'm angry and I want you to be angry with me so we can be angry together and do something angry like.
Yeah.
But you're trying to resolve this situation before it even happens. So how and why and what do we do now?
You know, I really, really, when I decided that I didn't want to be sick anymore, I decided I didn't want to be sick anymore. I met, I lived so poorly for so long that I couldn't take it anymore. And I realized how ugly life and myself had become. And I said, fuck that. You know, I'm gonna be myself. I'm gonna quit drinking. I'm gonna come out. I'm gonna be and wear and be myself and look how I look. And it felt good to be out of the depths of living in so many mental illnesses, so many things conflicting on themselves. And the bitter irony of this is that people look at me all the time and are not above thinking and even saying out loud that I'm mentally ill. It's crazy the amount of work I'd put into myself.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just get met with, well, morally, you're reprehensible and an abomination. I get all this shit left and right, you know, and it happens to me all the time. I could not fucking believe how vastly my life actually changed because I wanted to be myself. And I don't even like wear a big tag on me with it says, hey, use pronouns or anything like that. Nothing. I get into these weird debates with people in public all the time at gigs and shit. And it always ends up feeling like, oh, okay, well, I guess you're one of the good ones. No, motherfucker. Grow a backbone. Everything changed. Everything changed. My whole fucking everything changed. Violence, getting fired. That was a fucked up thing. You know, having my boss at the time basically, and then his office guy saying, "Hey, you know, we were so fucking right to hire you. You know, you're a shoo-in. You'll always have a place here, man. You are just everybody loves you. They can't wait to have you." And then the next fucking day after somebody's seen me, who worked in the office, get the cold shoulder from everybody. No, big care over it. I mean, I didn't lose it. When we talk about loss and what that means, I gained freedom, but I gained it through a lot of aggression. And I learned way too much. So I feel it every day. What can I say? Maybe life was easier when I was just a straight white guy.
Oh, shut up. I love you, little sexy thing, you.
I love me too.
For who? It's never okay to be somebody you're not, to appease other people. Stay true to yourself and be exactly who you're supposed to be, regardless of what people think. Because at the end of the day, you're not judging you. Who cares what they do?
Just be strong. That acceptance, that understanding, it can be self-gratifying. You know, you can't have to look at weaknesses as weaknesses. You know, events, things, these things that happen. You got to have fortitude. I think that's where a lot of the problem fails with people, is that they don't have enough fortitude to deal with everything. Now, I'm not one to fucking back down from anything. I'll talk to anybody about anything on my terms. I never used to. I used to be really scared of everybody, but it's just not like that anymore. So through a lot of bullshit, I did gain a lot of shit and learning, and it's been interesting.
But I think also too, right, is that because I've also been fired from jobs and it's not fun. But when you realize a lot of like these places that we spend time in are fleeting, you don't take the energy home with you. Like that's what I'm finding. Like I learned. I think that there's power in learning to detach from where you work at or wherever you might be, because I find that, like you said, like it's a stress-free place to be when you don't bring home what happened at work
Mm-hmm.
to your sanctuary, like to your home or your sanctuary, right? So I think that when you realize that a lot of these places are fleeting and you might have moments where, as much as you want to stay, you're just passing through, um, then whatever happens at work, you tend to leave it at work. And then whatever happens at home, you tend to leave it at home if you can, like if you can. But I think that when you realize that a lot of people, opinions, places, emotions even are fleeting, then you tend not to like bring that with you everywhere that you go. Like you'll kind of learn to, if I'm upset at home, I don't bring it to work. Like I'll find a way to get that stuff off my chest, whether I have to work out, whether I have to go for a walk, whether I have to, whatever it is that I have to do in order to be in a peaceful state, because I love peace. Um, I think that when you get to that point, it's at home and then you bring that to work and then you get into an argument with somebody at work. So now they want to fight you and they want to punch you in your face because they didn't like something you said. Um, that's stress. That's a ball of stress, man. That's a ball of stress. And I think that when you love your peace more than dealing with people's like bullshit and
Your
stress,
ego, yes.
you learn not to bring that energy with you like in other spaces.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like whether you work out, meditate, whatever you choose to do, but getting to a place in life where you just love peace, or you love harmony, or you love tranquil stuff, like period.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to bring stressful stuff with you, like everywhere that you go. Like, but it's of course it takes work. It takes work to get there, but
That's how I learned how to handle situations differently because my peace is so important to me that instead of when I approach a situation, instead of me approaching it from my ego or pride, I approach it with my peace.
mm,
I stop and think, is it really worth it? Because everything's temporary. We are temporarily here.
yeah,
We are on borrowed time in a place that's not our own, just renting. And yet everybody thinks it's so permanent that they allow their human emotion to become permanent in a temporary situation. I can't wrap my head around why people want to react in a permanent mind state or in a permanent thought with a temporary mind state. Even your
I
emotions
didn't know
change.
I didn't know how to react to the situation. It wasn't so much getting fired; it was the sexual discrimination. And it
mm,
was a right to work state, so I couldn't really do anything about it. So it didn't bring me a lot of tranquility. It shattered my peace for a very long time and pushed me really over the edge into the depression territory. But it took that huge lesson to learn how some of the viewpoints, and what thought processes in America were. Pissed me off, all
yeah,
that. So what am I doing? Busting my ass on a podcast for 2 years, pushing everything I have into music
hmm,
because that bought me not the career I wanted. I had to pay a huge price for it at Speeds, but it brought me freedom from that.
And not only that, you've grown a lot. How you handle situations, how you meet a situation. The old Henry was snap mad, constantly quick. And then the new Henry is, let me think about it and approach it in another way. Let me see if I can reach where you're at and try to get you to see what I'm talking about.
hmm,
You've
The old
changed.
me wouldn't even have snapped. I'd have just drank it away.
Well, before I met you, not that part. I'm talking about when I met you. I didn't
Oh
know
yeah,
that.
there was
I didn't know that part.
sobriety rage for a
Yeah,
period.
I knew that part. So I've seen the growth within you, and I love as you're growing that you are finding more and more of you, that you have now a fuck it attitude of what people think of you,
hmm,
and you love you. more than you've ever loved you your whole entire life. Because you
Well,
let
you
go.
know,
You let go. You let go of the ideal of what people thought you should be. You let go of the agreements of what people put upon you. And you became your own person. And you're going to
that's
continue.
it's I struggle with managing what I think I should say and what I want to say a lot of the time.
Henry has a video on YouTube. Go search Henry Scholl on YouTube, everybody. Henry has a video on YouTube where Henry was a skinny white boy with a gold tee and red hair, reddish brown hair. if
Oh, I
you
was trying to remember which video it was. Probably Broken
yeah,
Home.
if you search so far back enough, you will see the construct that Henry used to look like the church boy that would sell you the Bibles at the door.
Never, never. You got the wrong impression from me. I was the person who was going to sell you drugs,
No, but
and I
you
had a
looked.
party at
I
my
said,
house
look.
every day.
I said how you looked, not who
Oh,
you were. How you looked, and he was so lost inside his eyes.
Hmm.
Now this Henry looks totally opposite and has so much life and wonder. And now you look into his eyes and you see joy of a kid.
that's something. Joy is a
That's
little
you.
extreme.
No, you have joy in your eyes.
Oh, here we go. I got to read this out. This makes me joyous. I am definitely mourning the loss of my job. I am realizing how attached to it I was. Fighting the depression from that loss right now. I know I need to move and create a life for me and not wait for someone to give me something. Yeah, that's Michelle.
Somebody did
We
give
do
you
get
something, honey. They gave you freedom to be able to do whatever you want to do now.
Yeah.
we are so ingrained into thinking that we are a bank account number and this at a job. I think
Mm.
people really forget ourselves, you know. And I don't want, like, there's gonna be no next opportunity, Michelle. We are all rooting for you, here, and thanks for coming on the show. But
Every time a door is
maybe it's
shut, there's a window open.
Mm-hmm.
It may not be big
yeah,
enough for you to see, but there's some shining light somewhere. You got to reach your hand into that shining light and pull away the parts and climb out, climb out, climb out. I was in the medical field for 19 years. Went to go back to go to school to become a physical therapist. COVID hit. Everything shut down. I go to renew my license for my job, and they told me that my license lapsed in October. This is my 9th time renewing my license because every 2 years you have to do it. I remember the date if it's my 9th time doing it. It's been the same for 8 other times. So I go to redo it and they say, no, it expired 2 months beforehand. And I said, there's no way. And they said, there's nothing we can do about it.
Mm-hmm.
You can start all over from the bottom as if you never ever did this and start over and take the schooling all over again and start from chicken scratch. Or you could take it as a loss. That's just how it goes. So I did not do neither. I celebrated
Mm-hmm.
and became something that I always wanted to be, and that's free from the system of working and became my own boss.
That part.
So, Michelle, you didn't lose nothing, baby. This is the Most High telling you it's time for you to shine and do that what you always wanted to do that you think you couldn't. And if you put yourself in the right frequencies and align yourself with the energy that you're supposed to with passion and excitement, what's meant for you shall come to you freely because it's ordained to you, love. But you have to start with a positive mindset on it first and stop looking at it as a loss.
And to piggyback off that, as they say, your gifts will make space. You should not have to fight for your space. If you feel like you always have to fight for your space, then you might be in the wrong spaces or you might be at the wrong tables. As a person also who I am a workaholic, but I'm working on things that I love to do. So to me, it doesn't feel like work. When you find I call it what makes you feel free. That's what I call it. When
Yes.
you find your thing that makes you feel free you will never feel like you're working. So maybe, Michelle, because I've also, again, been let go from jobs and it's not fun, but maybe it was time for you to go. Sometimes when things are meant to come to an end, we don't like it, but you might have served your purpose there. You might have served your time. Maybe you touched somebody that you didn't think you touched, and now Lord, God, the universe, whatever you call it, has said, okay, it's time for you to level up. And leveling up is scary, of course, but maybe this is your time. Like Kimberly said, maybe this is your time to find out.
I wouldn't have left my job. Once the school closed and I wasn't be able to be a physical therapist, I would have continued doing what I was doing.
Yeah.
Killing myself to make $1 for somebody else and working in the medical field was crappy during COVID. We had no PPEs. I was using plastic bags as in gowns. They told us to take our mask for 4 days and put it into a paper bag and use it. We had no gloves. We had to wash our gloves off and do something different. So like it was rough
Mm-hmm.
to work in the medical field during COVID. It was really rough. And anytime anybody had a fever, we put them all together, regardless of what the case may be. And a lot of people have fevers because they're fighting off infections or because they just got done having surgery. But everybody was in quarantine with COVID areas, whether you liked it or not. And a lot of people were dead. They killed a lot of people. I'm just saying, like, I don't know the proper way of saying this. A lot of people's lives have been lost and got worse because of improper care, because they didn't know the right precautions to take. And I seen so much stuff, and I would have stayed in that situation. I just would have, because I was making almost $30 an hour, but I didn't have a life, and I was hurting every single day.
Yeah.
This is the best shape I've ever been my whole entire life. This is the most peace I've ever had my whole entire life. And I may not have a real job, but I've been working from the time I wake up to the time I'm going to bed.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm wanted, valued, and needed more now than I ever had. And I have so much peace and freedom. And I could sleep all day if I want to and still go to work without going to work.
I have a wonderful job. I just don't make a lot of money.
I don't make money either. It's not about making money. Because
Yeah,
at my
making
other
some.
job, it doesn't matter how much money I made.
Mm-hmm.
I was still blessed. And I'm trying not to say that word no more. I still was rewarded by the boom effect because of what I gave.
Mm-hmm.
Being in the medical field, it's not about what you receive, because nobody gets the proper pay for that. It's about what you give to another person that makes them feel safe being there because they don't want to be there.
Mm.
It's helping them get through that little temporary situation, because I worked in the rehab, and some of them got to go home and then some of them never did. But at the end of the day, they didn't feel alone because they had me coming in.
Mm.
So a lot of people are afraid when they're in those situations, and they don't know. They're afraid. They're scared. And I
What
have
was your job title?
a lot of things. When you work in the medical
Caregiver?
field, it's not one. No, it's many. I did private care. I was a nurse in private care. Then I did wound care. Everything. When you work in the medical field, you don't have one position.
But the ultimate goal, the oath, it's for caring for people, right? I mean, that's the whole
That is the whole caring.
reason for the thing.
But they tend to forget that because there's a lot of red tape and paperwork that people tend to forget the care part.
Yeah. I don't know how to say this because I respect therapy. I'm glad that we got therapists doing something. I think it's more of a problem with the system, but I see a lot of therapists, and I still see a lot of people struggling and suffering everywhere and just in obvious ways, and it just doesn't seem like it's attainable. I think that's why the podcast is important. I think there's more people are trying to take it into their own hands to make sure that everybody's at least understanding that there is help and there's mental health happening. I think it's really important. And it's really important. You know,
You're
it's
not
not to shit
alone.
on therapists.
Just to know
No, we're not alone.
you're not alone. Somebody else is also going through something. It may not be exactly the same as you,
Yeah.
but I promise you, it's relatable. Definitely never alone. The demons get the best of me, and they come into my psyche a lot. And I have to sit and tell myself that it is irrational thinking, and at this present moment, it does not serve me any good. So I have to remove it.
Yes.
Because I
It
run a
takes-
podcast and I act like I have self-control and I have this balance, doesn't mean I also don't get tempted from the dark side. We're tested every day.
Yeah. As even talking about the word demon, I think that a demon also is to try and convince you that you should always be working.
Yes.
I think that's a demon within itself, right? Because we, as a society, have pushed, I guess, us common people to think that we should just be all about work and that's it. Like we shouldn't have any fun. We shouldn't go outside. We shouldn't do anything pertaining to what we were doing before, as they say, we quote unquote grew up, quote unquote. And I think that it's important to find things to do that don't have anything to do with work. Because sometimes you become more productive when you're not doing things related to work. Or at least in my case, I can't speak for everybody, but sometimes you need that recharge. You need to reset. And I think that it's become a false narrative to always be working. I think that it's become a false narrative. I think that if you're working in moderation, it's fine. But if you're working like 24/7, but you're not doing anything else to replenish or reset or do anything that's not pertaining to work, I think that that's also, that could be an issue within itself, right?
They're
Or
called
demon.
burnouts. They're called burnouts.
Yeah. Yeah.
You will have
I
burnouts.
don't like the little phrase that I've noticed in recent years or whatever. It's just shut up and go to work.
That part.
Burnouts.
Yeah, just shut up.
You will have burnouts. And when you do things that you love to do, it doesn't feel like work.
Yeah.
Now, I know people who lay down concrete for a living, and they love it. And for most people, spreading concrete in 90, 95 degree, 100 degree weather sounds like hell, you know?
Yeah.
But it's not for some people, you know? I mean, shit, it's not my favorite thing to do, but it really looks nice when it's done. I like doing sod and shit. You know, I told someone I love doing sod when they were asking me what kind of work I do. I love laying down sod and grading and shit. And they're like, oh, that's easy. I immediately got relegated to that was easy, so it's not worth doing. We really have some misinformation about what it means to be a man or a part of the workforce, you know. Do I look at the workforce like the workforce anyway? No, I look at like they've dissolved the middle class and everyone's just trying to make someone else who's rich richer. Now it's satire, but if you're working just to be part of the workforce, just to have money, I just know so many people like that. I'm like, who are you? And they're just like, I don't know. I don't fucking know.
You know what kills me when they say a job's a job. Well, at least you got a job. Well, at least you got a job. Why don't they say that about breathing, please? At least you're breathing. Come on now. This enslaved mindset that we are supposed to be with a number, the concentration camp mindset. You're supposed to have a number. You're supposed to do this. You're supposed to do that. You're supposed to do this. You're supposed to do that. Who says? Tell me.
Someone does. I mean, what's the difference now? You know, a job is a job. A job's a job. Yeah, a job's a job when rent for a double wide was $400. I mean, they expect a
the
lot out of you.
president. Obviously, the job's a job. Look at they got anybody doing it. I'm just saying, a job's a job. Anybody.
Let's just bring all the guests in. Let's just get crazy political and start fighting with
No,
each
I
other.
don't do that.
Wait. No, hold on a second. No.
I'm just saying, a job's a job.
Yes, it is. But what if you're just doing a job? What if you're like, I want to contribute to society? That's a good mindset. Not if you're miserable, I guess. But you should want to contribute to society. I think that's a good thing.
Humanitarian. Go. Everybody should go become a humanitarian and try to work on that for a little bit.
Why are the nonprofits non-profits? Because nonprofits do a lot of good things for everyone, and they don't aim to make a profit. But we should be lifting people up who are trying to help.
Facts.
You know, they can say nonprofit till the cows come home, but someone should be helping them out and scratching their backs, right?
Facts.
That's true.
I've noticed that everyone actually on both sides has both sides. When I say both sides, has kind of come together and looking at like what's going on with all the hurricanes and shit. And they're like, wait a second. Why aren't we helping them out? Why are we helping all these other countries? Well, the other countries aren't helping us. And there's a bigger picture to all that, but it's a fair point. It seems to be something that people agree upon, that we're not helping our own citizens whatsoever. We should be.
But why does it? But I guess a question like on top of that, why does it take a whole tragedy for us to come together at that point?
Yeah, I'm confused on that too.
So you can bypass people in the street all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody help me make sense of this, please. I'm open. I'm genuinely open. But you can bypass people in the street like all the time. Say good morning, say hello if you choose to. Or not pay them any mind if that's what you choose to do. However, when a tragedy comes, you put all that to the side and you come together to unite for the time being, however long it may last. So my question would be, again, why does it take a tragedy for us to, I guess, put aside our differences, put aside our whatever we're choosing to put aside, and come together when, quite frankly, we could do that in less dire circumstances or less dire situations, or just for the hell of it. There doesn't always have to be a catastrophic, metaphorical, or meteoric disaster for us to come together. So why does it take Hurricane Milton, Hurricane Helene, tornadoes, earthquakes, mudslides, whatever tragedy or disaster you want to put in there, for us to come and unite?
Because there's a reason.
I have a theory. Maybe everybody is too set in their ways. Maybe everybody's just too stuck trying to stay out of debt, trying to make car payments, trying to make that rent, trying to keep their head above water, trying to afford $8 boxes of families. I'll never stop saying this. I saw a box of Frosted Flakes, a family size one, for like $8 in the store. And who the fuck has time to help each other? We don't live in the can I borrow a cup of sugar from my neighbor days. It's your neighbor's aiming a gun at you and saying, what the fuck are you doing on my property? It's a problem.
There's a
Fred
reason.
Rogers.
Nobody has a reason to care. Nobody has a reason to care anymore. Nobody has a reason to help. Nobody has a reason to contribute until they become a reason. And that's weird.
I'm ready.
We should automatically have it naturally embedded into us to want to do that. We are supposed to be barterers. From the time we were born, we were supposed to barter exchange. Didn't they teach us in school to bring something for the other children that can't afford it, and then they do the same with something different that they can afford? Mm-hmm. We're supposed to barter.
Someone comment where I go or what I do to is there a bus that leaves from Michigan to go help people? I mean, people have urged me against it, but also see where I'm coming from. I'm kind of fucking done with a lot of shit. And if I want to help more, I kind of want to go drag people out of buildings and shit. You know, I'm getting to the point where it's just like that because, you know, I'm sitting here just kind of watching things pass by. And I'm trying to help my dad and shit, just getting screwed over by the system left and right. And I'm just like, That'll be
wait,
something.
or wait until after the show because I had a big surprise to talk to you about after the show.
Oh boy. Okay. Oh, I wanted to bring something up. I can bring it up. I was gonna ask what radio station actually picked us up. I've had so many people asking us about the radio station. I mentioned it.
Exclusive sound. Exclusive sound radio.
I want to try to write that down because I'm bad with names.
Exclusive sound radio. We are on the international channel.
Hey, that sounds good.
I am the manager of the international channel on Exclusive Sound Radio.
Well, I can't wait to talk to you after the show. You know,
Yes,
and I think we've been practicing. We've been practicing. We're at an hour and 25 minutes now. We'll be able to knock out 2-hour specials. No problem, right?
No problem. So how do you want to wrap this up? So I'm going to go across the board, and that'd be you first. So what do you have to say to end it?
You're not gonna me.
Yeah.
Oh, we sure talked about a lot tonight, didn't we?
Yes.
I guess at the end of the day, it's up to us to decide what's healthy and not healthy for us. But look at the bigger picture. Oh God, there's so much you could say on this, right?
Mhm.
It's there's too much to say. Try to make healthy decisions, and if you're not used to that, look into it. Be teachable. You know, stop fighting so hard to be for whatever providence you think is protecting you, and maybe try some new things. Listen to some people talk and keep an open mind about things. You'd be surprised what you can learn about yourself if you just look a little bit. And I'll keep it at that.
David.
Find out what makes you feel free and spend the rest of your life pursuing it. Because when you find what makes you feel free, you will also come across people who are already operating in their sense of freedom. And it won't feel like fighting. It won't feel like you're going against the grain. It won't feel like any of that. It'll feel like home should feel. It'll feel peaceful. It'll feel blissful. So if you haven't found what makes you feel free yet, for those that are going to be listening to this at a later date, I'm going to encourage you to ask yourself, whether it's tonight or tomorrow, what makes you feel free? And then spend the rest of your life pursuing that, and everything else will fall into place.
Facts. So I want to say release and growth. To release is to let go, to allow something new to come in. You have to remove, you have to heal, and you have to be able to allow growth. They're both all very scary equally. But once they start happening, they will come to you so naturally. Release emotions, fear, anger, whatever it may be that's holding you back from being you. And allow who you're supposed to be to come to you so you can grow. Because growth is beautiful. And at the end of the day, everybody wants to see a plant grow. Allow people to water you, give yourself grace, and allow the sun to shine upon your face. Love yourself. It's worth it. Because somebody else out there is loving you even when you're a hot fucking mess. What's Kendall saying? Keep shining your light. So, we're going to wrap this up. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Appreciate everybody coming on, sharing your life with us, and allowing us to come into your world for a moment. Give yourself a hug and say you're doing a good job because you're doing the best you can. And if you're not, then start doing the best you can.
Mm-hmm.
May your night be full of positive energy and high vibrations, everyone. Ashe.
Ashe.
Let's get to the bottom of this one. Unspoken truths that I miss one. Tap into the minds of the people, rather acknowledge before I dismiss one. Atheists, Muslim, Christians, Buddhists, they all got usage. All got perspective, it's a collective. Get to the bottom where the truth is, where the heart's uncovered. Where you detox from all of the lies you smothered. Where them tries could have killed you, but with faith you recover. Yup. Peel off the makeup, we finna take off. Never said it'd be a cakewalk. Meditate till we charged up. Execute goes regardless. Decalcify my pineal. Breaking language barriers, we saw millennials. Planets passing age rotations, down me we owe. So down me we know. Sometimes we can be slow, that's why my ears open. Every drop you add could complete the ocean. Speak up, play your part too. Been vulnerable, it's so hard to.